win somehow. So give up on the battle, baby. It's hard, I know.
Alright guys, so you saw the title of the video. I know you're dying to know, so we're gonna get straight into it. The most counterintuitive thing that I have had to learn about strength training is that you don't build strength testing strength. And the first time I ever heard this was from John, and when he said that, my heart just dropped and I was like, I just hired a hippie. What did I get myself into? You're trying to tell me that if I want to hit PRs, I should not be PRing on a weekly basis. And I know that I'm not the smartest person out there, but it just didn't make sense right away. And there's two sides to it, because you also don't want to be sandbagging, but let's put it like this, guys. Let's relate this to the real world, or my world, because the fitness world is not my world. I'm in the business world the majority of my life. That's what I do for a living. So let me give you an example. When I started my job, if you guys know anything about the accounting profession, you know that year end is the busy time, at least for the corporate world. Obviously, if you're in public accounting, then tax season is going to be your busy time. But for corporate accounting, year end is when you are just slammed. So when I started there, I went right in at year end, and I was so determined to show everyone how hard of a worker that I was, to show them that they made a great decision by hiring me, that I just went all out. I was not leaving. I was there longer than everyone. I was there before everyone on Saturday, went in on Sunday, just to knock this out. But what I noticed is that I would work really late hours, and then I'd come in the next day when I was a little bit more refreshed, and I would be like, what in the world were you doing yesterday? I would have to reverse half of the journal entries I was booking because they were wrong, but I was just so tired and so fatigued that I was just making all types of mistakes. And I know this doesn't relate directly to what I'm trying to talk about in strength training, but I think it has some correlation. So there's always going to be diminishing returns. I'm going to throw a graph on this screen right now in case you guys are not familiar with the concept. But essentially what it means is, just because you're putting more and more inputs into something, it doesn't guarantee the same level of output in return. You might get that for a while, but after a certain amount of time, it's going to start to level off. And if you continue to go down that same path, you're actually going to start experiencing negative returns. So when you think about my example, say I left at 7 o'clock instead of 8:30, I would have been better off, because from 7 to 8:30 is when I was the most fatigued, and it's likely that is when I made the most amount of errors. So when I got to work the next day, I had to spend more time than I would have had to originally to go back and correct those errors. And when you think about strength training, a lot of the same stuff happens. So when someone first starts strength training, you see that they'll have their linear progression, and then they hit that wall, and that is when you start having to do some periodization work. And I think that's hard for a lot of us to accept. I know I've said this before, but fitness and lifting tends to attract obsessive personalities. They say obsessive, we say dedicated. You know how that goes. But if you're like me, you just want to go all out on everything. And this is not just in lifting for me. As you can tell, this is in all aspects of my life. So to tell me that I should not be working up to an RPE 10 every single week was crazy, because I thought initially that that is how I'm going to get stronger, and what I have learned that is just not the case. And I said at the beginning of the video, you also have to differentiate that from sandbagging. You can't not give enough effort every single workout and expect to see a lot of results, but you have to plan, you have to program it all in, and that has been the biggest learning experience for me. I'm glad that I feel like I'm on the right path now, and luckily I was under good guidance there for a long period of time. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Any feedback you have for me would be greatly appreciated. Let me know if you like these styles of videos. I don't ever want it to sound like I'm preaching to you guys, although I know that it does sometimes. I don't want it to be like school where I'm throwing up graphs, but that kind of just gave you a visual to use, and hopefully it helped get my point across. So please like the video if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate that, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Okay guys, be honest with me. How many of you skip through all of that workout footage, all of that commentary that I put so much thought and time into just to come see the food? Half of you, guaranteed it. I'm calling all of you guys out. So even though I know that that's the case, I won't take it personal. I'm still going to show you guys this little creation that I've been working on. So if you saw, well, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I did a full day of eating and I tried to make a sweet omelet and it was not very successful. But I have a better feeling about this. So over here, I've got the egg substitute, which is not what you guys came here to see. What I'm going to do is stuff it with 2 glazed donuts, some Cool Whip, and some jelly. So it's gonna be, you know, like a jelly donut omelet. How awesome is that? So I don't know how anything can be bad that you put 2 donuts inside of, but you never know. I can screw up a lot of stuff in the kitchen, and if it is bad, I'm gonna be pissed because I just wasted 2 donuts. So hopefully it turns out okay. Let me go get this real quick and I'll show you guys along the way. Okay, so the easy part's done, but you guys know that I always struggle with the flip, so we'll see if we can do it. Pressure's on. Alright, so I did have to throw some of it on top because it was getting too full, and what I've learned is if you try to put too much in it, the omelet just breaks apart and then it just ruins the entire thing. But it is looking pretty good, so I'm going to give this one a try and I will let you guys know how it is. Well, it was a lot better than the first time I made it, and I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty good, but I just don't know that I'm completely on board with this whole sweet omelet movement. If there's even really a movement. I mean, as far as I know, it was like trending on Instagram. Is that how you could say it nowadays? Trending? If you guys have not picked up on it by now, I am not very good at social media. And you should be, you know, especially in the YouTubes. You should be out promoting yourself, right? But maybe I'll do a video on why I just don't see the importance for someone like myself, even though you should, no matter who you are, because that's the way the world's going. So you young people out there, go and do your social media bots and do what you need to do. But anyway, the stuffed omelet, not too bad. Personally, I would much rather just have an omelet with donuts on the side, but that's just me. And that doesn't make like a cool thumbnail picture or a cool storyline to impress all you guys. So that is going to be the end of the video. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you next time.